Introverts are underserved in the coaching marketplace as entrepreneurs, as speakers, as influencers. Oftentimes people speak directly to the extroverts and leave out their more introverted friends in the marketplace. This lesson is for introverted leaders who want to learn how to sell in a way that feels light and feels natural. This is going to be helpful for all coaches and entrepreneurs, but specifically for my introverted friends. And this is the Sales Strategies for Christian Coaches podcast. I'm Justin Janowski, your host. I built a $250,000 coaching business my first year with Faith to Influence. But before that, I had 2 failed attempts. I made only 1 sale in my first attempt to build a coaching business, and I went out of business. 3 years later, I made 3 sales, and I went out of business. 3 years after that, I had tremendous success. And now I've done millions of dollars in sales and worked with thousands of clients. And I want to share in this podcast the sales and marketing strategies that worked and helped me build a successful business. Today, specifically, like I said, I want to share 5 sales tips for introverted leaders, things that I know can help. The first is to find your way in marketing and client acquisition. Find your way. There are many different ways to get clients, and you need to find your way. So you don't need to do what everyone tells you to do online. You don't need to be running a podcast, being on YouTube videos, posting on every single social media site, having stories and long form posts and short form posts, and you don't need to be writing blogs and books and building a website. You don't need to be running retreats and conferences and telesummits. You don't need to be doing all the different things. And this is for everyone. None of us should be trying to do all of those things, especially when we're brand new. You're going to find the 1, 2, 3 strategies that really work for you in marketing and client acquisition. Now, it's important that we don't just find strategies that are easy for us if they don't lead us directly to clients. One of the things that we help our clients with is identifying the strategies that actually lead them directly to clients and mastering those skill sets around sales. And so if you want help with that, join our Land More Coaching Clients Masterclass. We'll teach you how to find the strategies that work for you. You can go to landcoachingclients.com for more information on that. It's a free 90-minute masterclass. But regardless of whether you get your ideas from that masterclass or from some other source, it's important for you to recognize that it's not your responsibility or your job to try to do every single thing that everyone does in the marketplace. It's your responsibility to find the 2 or 3 strategies that work for you and consistently pursue mastery in those areas. Building a business, even though it requires at times that we do things that feel a little bit scary, that stretch us and make us a little bit uncomfortable, doesn't require us to constantly be uncomfortable. There's a way for you to build that's natural to you, and you need to find it. The second thing that we need to do, if you're an introverted leader, is schedule thinking and self-care blocks in your calendar. It's a reality of being a coach, a speaker, a trainer, however you identify yourself in the business marketplace. It's a reality that you're going to spend time with people. You're either going to be doing one-on-one coaching, or you're going to be doing group calls, or at the very least, even if you're just selling a recorded course, you're going to be having sales calls. You're going to be marketing and interacting with people. That's a part of being in this industry. And if you know that being with people too much can be draining for you, it's especially important for you to use your calendar to your advantage and schedule thinking blocks. Time where you're just going to sit with yourself, with a journal, with God, getting some space away from the computer screen, away from people, to think and process and consider. This is good for all of us. And the second thing is self-care blocks, making sure that you're not scheduling yourself on too many calls and spending too much time with other people, or even too much time working on your business, but to make sure that you have time to recharge, to fill your cup, to go for a walk, to get a massage, to meditate, to pray, to spend time in the Bible, whatever it is that you like to do. Maybe you want to go to the movies by yourself on Thursday afternoons. Tuesday afternoons, even better. You can get a better price. But making sure that you have your form of self-care scheduled regularly in your calendar. This might be daily, it might be weekly, it might be monthly, it might be quarterly, depending on the types of self-care that you like. It's just important to make sure that you're filling your cup and recharging your own batteries so that when you are with people, you can have energy and be at your best. The third key I want to share is to use your authentic leadership voice. I sometimes find that introverted leaders can feel nervous about using their voice. There can be some self-doubt or some questioning that I've received from people as they've shared about this challenge of like, are people going to want to listen to me? Even though my communication style might be a little bit different than the kinds of people I see online as influencers all the time. And the reality is, yes, there are a ton of people who are going to resonate specifically with your voice. There are so many people in the world, and there's so many different personality types. And there are some people who are really attracted to the extroverted leader who's really bold and really loud and really charismatic online. And there are plenty of people who are turned off by that same voice and are seeking a different voice, one that is quieter, one that is more thoughtful, one that is more peaceful, that resonates with them. And so I just want to encourage you to know and to recognize the truth that God made you beautifully and wonderfully exactly as you are, and that there are a ton of people in the world who are going to love your voice. Now, this doesn't mean that we can't elevate the way that we communicate, because we should. We should elevate our communication all the time. We should be thinking about how we can communicate in a way that's easy for people to receive. We should be thinking about how we can be more influential, how we can have even more integrity in our communication, how we can bring forward more confidence. These are things that every single coach, every single speaker should be thinking about and working on. And I want you to know that the core of your voice and your personality and your nature will attract your tribe. The fourth strategy, though, is to find mentors to emulate. And so you do want to grow as a speaker and a communicator, as a coach. And so it's important that each of us seeks out mentors, leaders whose voices we resonate with. And that doesn't mean that they're going to be exactly like us, but we're all going to notice that we get an initial instinct about certain communicators, certain voices online, certain communicators and voices from stage, certain communicators and voices in the written word, in books. And I just want to encourage you to seek out the voices and the people whose values you resonate with, whose communication style you resonate with, so that you can watch them, so that you can read from them, so that you can learn from them, so that you can emulate them as you grow and find a higher version of your authentic leadership voice. And know that for each of us, those mentors, those models are going to be different. The final idea and key to grow your sales as an introvert is to make sure that you have the right offer design. Super important for you to design an offer that does not burn you out. If you know that you like certain things better than others, I want to encourage you that your offer doesn't have to look the same as everyone else's. There's so many different ways to design a coaching offer. You can do group calls. And for some of you, you'd like that better than one-on-one. Imagine a scenario in which you have 10 clients. For some of you, having one group call each week with 10 clients would feel a lot better than having 10 one-on-one calls each week or every other week or even each month. The volume of calls might be something important for you to consider in your business design. Maybe you recognize that you're somebody who would like to have fewer overall calls. Maybe as you consider things, you're like, no, I like having a lot of one-on-one calls. I just don't like talking to a lot of people all at one time. That feels stressful or overwhelming. If that's the case, well, then you should do one-on-one instead of being in large groups. But it's important for you to consider how you want to deliver your offer in a way that feels good for you, that's sustainable, even when it's successful. And then in regards to that as well, I also want you to consider how many clients you want to work with in your program. And again, this is good for everyone, but for the introverted leader to consider, like, do you want a program where you've got 100 clients? Would you rather work with 5 clients or 10 or 20? What's the ideal number of clients for you to work with? And then we have to measure that number of clients against your financial goals and against the design of how you want to run your offer, and make sure that all the pieces fit together. In many cases, for all coaches and specifically for introverted leaders, you might want to consider increasing your price and working with fewer clients in a deeper way. It might be, if you have a $100,000 business goal, it might be way more compelling for you to find 5 people in the whole world who will buy your $20,000 offer, where you provide a tremendous service to those 5 people. Or maybe you'd like to work with 10 people in a $10,000 offer. Those things might be a lot easier and more fun for you than trying to build a business where you work with 100 people in a $1,000 offer. And this is just one example. There's so many different scenarios we could run through. If you want to build a $30,000 business, You could work with 100 people at $300. You could work with 10 people at $3,000. You could work with 6 people at $5,000. Or you could work with 3 people at $10,000. All of these are different paths to a $30,000 business. And so considering your price point and how many clients you want to work with and all of these different things, the ways in which you want to work with them, and being really thoughtful about that so that you build a business that you like working in is critically important. And obviously, the higher your price point, the fewer clients you're working with, the fewer sales calls you need to hold. The lower your price point, the more volume of clients you're trying to work with, the more sales calls you need to hold, the more marketing efforts and prospecting efforts that you need to engage in. And so all of this is about just being intentional to recognize how God made you, what your strengths are, what your preferences are, and know that you can personalize your business to you. These are the 5 keys, again, sales tips for introverted leaders. Number 1, find your way, specifically in marketing and lead flow strategies. Number 2, schedule thinking and self-care blocks in your calendar. Number 3, use your authentic leadership voice to find your tribe. People are going to love you and your voice and your way of being. Number 4, though, find mentors and models to emulate in your speaking and communication style. And number 5, design the right offer with the right price for the right business for you. I hope this has been helpful. God bless you all. Have an amazing week. I look forward to talking to you again soon. See ya.